I never planned to find out the truth that night. It was supposed to be just another sleepless evening, the kind where silence presses too hard against your chest and you wander the house to breathe. I thought I was looking for comfort. Instead, I found a key, a small, rusted key hidden inside one of my father's old books. I didn't know what it belonged to, but something in me, something restless, pushed me toward Adrian's room. The lock on his bottom drawer had always been there, and he always brushed it off, saying it was for important papers. But when I slipped that key inside, it clicked too easily. The drawer slid open, and my world fell apart. Inside were old letters, photographs, legal papers. At first, it didn't make sense. But as I read, pieces began to align in a shape I wished I could unsee. A woman everyone said had died years ago alive, writing letters to him. Property transfers that didn't have our family's name, but his initials. My father's diary. Entries smudged but clear enough. The secret must remain hidden, or the family will collapse. And suddenly, I realized Adrian wasn't who I thought he was. I shoved everything back, but my hands shook. I felt dirty just touching the papers. The house was too quiet, the air too heavy. And then, footsteps. Adrian came home, humming softly, unaware. I locked the drawer, ran to my room, and lay in bed pretending to sleep. My heart hammered so violently I thought it would burst. The next morning he was cheerful. Too cheerful. He asked if I'd slept well, poured me coffee like nothing had changed. But I saw it now, the way his smile never reached his eyes, the calculation behind his gaze. I wondered if he already knew what I had done. I kept silent, but inside me something dark grew. I started watching him, following him with my eyes when he left the room, listening to his phone calls through the thin walls. That's when I noticed the patterns. He left the house at odd hours, always returning tense. One night, I followed. I drove behind him, lights dimmed. The road stretched further than we'd ever gone, to the edge of town, where houses grew fewer and silence louder. He stopped at a decrepit house, abandoned from the outside. I crouched in the car, watching through the cracked blinds. And then I saw him wrap his arms around someone, a woman. Not just anyone, her. The woman from the letters. The woman who wasn't supposed to exist anymore. The woman my father had sworn was gone. I froze, every nerve screaming. She wasn't dead. She was alive, and Adrian had been keeping her a secret. I wanted to scream at him, but instead I drove away, shaking so hard I could barely grip the wheel. My entire life suddenly felt like a performance, staged by people who had smiled in my face while stabbing me behind my back. From then on, every moment with him felt poisoned. Every word he spoke was coded in lies. At breakfast, his small talk made my stomach churn. When he asked about my plans, I heard threats beneath the casual tone. When his hand brushed mine as he passed the dishes, it felt like a warning. I couldn't keep it in. I confronted him on a night when the rain pounded against the windows like fists. My voice trembled, but I didn't care. I know, Adrian. I know you've been hiding her. I know you've been lying to me all these years. His face didn't break into confusion or denial. No, his eyes darkened, and he whispered, "You shouldn't have gone through that drawer." The words sank into me like ice. That was his first instinct, not denial, not surprise, but acknowledgement. He knew, and he knew I knew. From that moment, the house became a battlefield. He didn't shout, didn't threaten outright. Instead, he watched me. Every move, every step. His gaze lingered too long, his silence too heavy. He'd stand in my doorway at night under the pretense of checking in. But I could feel it, he was measuring me, wondering when I'd break. I started digging deeper, secretly. The diary, the letters, even old boxes in the attic. I pieced together the fragments. Our father had another family, a hidden one. That woman was part of it. And Adrian wasn't just a brother, he was part of that lie. He wasn't the golden child. He was the secret child. The one hidden, protected, disguised. But here's the thing about secrets. Once they start unraveling, you can't control how far the thread will go. One night, I heard voices downstairs. I crept down and froze. Adrian wasn't alone. He was talking to our mother. And what I heard made my blood run cold. "She's starting to figure it out," he said. "Then you know what must be done," she replied. Her voice, my mother's voice, calm, deliberate, like this was nothing new. I staggered back up the stairs, heart slamming against my ribs. My own mother, she was part of it too. From then on, I knew I wasn't just fighting Adrian. I was fighting them all. The house turned into a prison. Every shadow felt like a trap. Every knock on my door like a warning. Adrian started leaving little hints, subtle but clear. My favorite book moved from its shelf. My phone, mysteriously drained of battery. A note on my desk stopped digging. And the more I uncovered, the clearer it became. I was never meant to know the truth. The family I thought I belonged to wasn't real. The bond I thought I shared with my brother was a mask. And the love I thought my parents had for me was just another performance. The worst part? I didn't know how deep it went. Late one night, I opened another envelope from the drawer. This one was different. My name on a certificate, except it wasn't my name, not the one I'd lived with. Another name entirely. I wasn't just betrayed. I wasn't who I thought I was. The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. The whispers, the silences. The way my mother sometimes looked at me like she was staring at a stranger. It all made sense now. I wasn't their child. I was the secret. The realization broke something inside me. I confronted Adrian again, this time screaming, shoving the papers into his chest. "Tell me the truth," I shouted. "Who am I? What have you all done?" He looked at me with pity. Not anger, not rage, pity. "You were never supposed to find out," he said softly. "You were safe for not knowing." Safe from what? Or from asterisk who asterisk? Before I could press him, the door creaked open. Our mother stood there, her eyes cold and calculating. "Enough," she said. "It's time you understand everything. And that's where I'll leave you tonight." Because what she revealed next wasn't just betrayal, it was the kind of truth that rewrites everything you think you know about your life. If you want me to continue this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because trust me, the darkest part is still hidden. Her voice was sharper than the thunder outside. Calm but slicing straight through the air. My mother, no, the woman I had called my mother, stood there in the doorway. Her hands folded like this was a conversation she had been rehearsing for years. Adrian didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stepped aside and let her in, as if he'd been waiting for her to take control. I gripped the papers tighter, the certificate with the wrong name burning in my hand. "Tell me," I whispered, my throat dry. "Because I don't know who I am anymore." She walked closer, her eyes fixed on mine. "You were never supposed to know this," she said. "Your father made sure of it. But since you've already seen too much, I'll tell you what he didn't have the courage to." I wanted to run. My legs ached to sprint out of that house. But my body was frozen. I could only listen. "You are not my child," she said. "Not by blood. You were never meant to belong to this family. You were insurance, a reminder to your father of his sins." Her words twisted in my chest like knives. I shook my head. "Insurance? What does that even mean?" Adrian finally spoke, his voice heavy. "It means he brought you here after she left. After the woman you saw in that house disappeared from our lives. You're her child, not ours." The walls closed in on me. My entire existence felt like a cruel joke. I was her child, the woman I had seen alive, the one they'd sworn was dead, the woman Adrian had been protecting all along. I dropped the papers. My hands fell